Hello everybody. In this video, I am breaking rule number 1 of YouTube, and I am doing public math. The question is, how does the ATM for MSTR work? How does the ATM generate a yield? How is the ATM, how is dilution good for us? Let me go over step 1. Step 1 is the initial state of MSTR. And by the way, we're holding everything constant. We're assuming nothing moves. No change in the price of Bitcoin, barely any change in the price of the stock. We're assuming everything is flat for this demonstration. So, step 1, initial state of MicroStrategy. Price per share 368, market cap 99 billion, number of shares outstanding 368 million, Bitcoin count 538,000. The worth, what's the total worth of all of that Bitcoin? Well, that's $50.5 billion. And market cap to NAV, which for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm calling BTC dollar worth, that's a 1.96. And you get to that number by dividing the market cap by the value of the Bitcoin, and you get to a 1.96. So in other words, it's overvalued, right? MSTR is trading at 1.96 times the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. It's trading at a premium. Step number 2 is for MicroStrategy to collect that premium. We're trying to collect the overvaluation. We're trying to collect the 9.6. And how do you collect the 9.6? You collect the 9.6 by printing shares. And note how when you collect the 9.6, the price to NAV is going to go slightly lower. Printing new shares reduces your price to NAV. So let's now assume step number 2, Strategy issues $1 billion worth of new common stock. Strategy mints new stock. It just prints it via the permanent 21 billion at the market offering. Strategy prints the new shares, and it prints for shares at this 1.96 market cap to Bitcoin dollar worth, the MNAV, right? The price to NAV, as I call it on this channel. Step number 3 is the end state. So what happens after our favorite stock gets diluted? What happens after $1 billion of new shares is printed? Is that bad for us? And no, it's not bad. It's wonderful. I want him to print more, especially as the price to NAV approaches a 2 or even breaks the 2. So let's go over the number. Stock price is still the same because we're holding everything constant. The market cap, because we're holding everything constant, we're assuming the $1 billion worth of shares was issued at the price, 368, so that's $1 billion extra exactly. Then how many new shares is that? 1 billion divided by 368, that's 2.7 million new shares. The new share count is 271 million. Note that we've been diluted because the share count increased by 1%. What's the Bitcoin count? The Bitcoin count is 548,838 now, because as soon as the new shares were printed, MicroStrategy went ahead and turned the $1 billion into Bitcoin right away. So that $1 billion was right away turned into 10,600 extra Bitcoin that is added to the Bitcoin bag. The Bitcoin bag grew by 1.97%. You grow the shares by 1%. You grow the Bitcoin bag by 1.97%. In total, you accrete by 0.96. That's the 9.6 here. You accrete. You increase, you accumulate 0.96% more Bitcoin. You sold a dollar bill for $1.96. And of course, because you printed new shares, you lowered your price to NAV a little bit. You lowered it to a 1.94. And how do you get that number, right? You take the new Bitcoin bag, the new amount of Bitcoin in dollar, and you divide it by the new market cap, and now you get a 1.94. So, in the initial state, the Bitcoin per share, Bitcoin per diluted share was 200,000 Satoshis, okay? And it was about $188 worth of Bitcoin per share. So if you bought a share of MicroStrategy, you got about $188 worth of Bitcoin. After the dilution, once the dilution has happened, and we've diluted the shares by an extra % in my example, you now have 202,000 Satoshis. So now it's $190 worth of Bitcoin per share. Just about. You've increased the Bitcoin per share by diluting the MSTR stock. This is why the ATM is so wonderful. This is why I want him to print more ATM and issue a new $21 billion ATM. Anyways, this was public math. YouTubers should never do that, but I just did, so please give me a like. This was not investment advice. This is no financial advice. Please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.